the New York Knickerbockers, they went into this series with a lot of confidence, with a lot of cachet, with a lot of desire for greatness.
Yeah.
And also, as we talked about in our last episode, a lot of room for pressure. And Spike Lee's in the building. He's hitting Julius Randle in the chest. He's saying, put this team on your back, young man. New York is on your back. We're all watching. We're all pulling for you. Julius Randle says, wait a second. What? Hold up. Stop. Pause. And luckily, the New York Knicks have a true all-star, an MVP on this team. His name is Derrick Rose. I asked Thibodeau to start Derrick Rose. He said he couldn't do it in the first half. Elfrid Payton, for some reason, I don't know if it's mental or what. It must be mental. He has to start the game. But the second half, Derrick Rose started, and the New York Knicks started to climb up. And then history, in my opinion, was made. The first playoff win in 8 years. I don't know. I honestly don't know how the comeback happened, but it was all will. It was all the building. It was all the crowd. I mean, we'll talk about the spitting incident later because that was not a part of this. That was separate. Totally separate.
Totally separate.
We've heard that Elfrid Payton was the one who did spit on Trae Young, so maybe Derrick will start from the start of the game, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But in general, the fact that Taj Gibson after the game was beautiful about it. He was just like, I feel like I'm living in some magnificent moment, and I don't want to like talk about it and make it taboo, but the fact that Derrick Rose, I mean, he was basically ran out of town in New York 4 years ago, and now he's back and just won their first playoff game, and he is by far their best player. Let's just be honest about it. And it was great.
This is the power of Madison Square Garden and New York media, and
this is the power of Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? I'm all in for D Rose. Remember that commercial when that came? I've been all in since then. And I've been waiting for Derrick to at least have the stage.
Taj Gibson is calling this like a magical that you're a 4 seed, that you even a first round series 1-1.
Just for Derrick. Just for Derrick. Not even about the Knicks winning. Look, the Knicks winning is secondary to the Derrick Rose. I cannot believe that Derrick, like if Derrick's career ended where he was the one MVP to not get in the Hall of Fame, that would have been like a gut punch to everything that he did because he was unbelievable. And the fact that he's been able to reinvent himself and now come back and be a star in New York, which means the media machine is going to get him in the Hall of Fame.
The media machine is...
That is magical. That's what I'm happy about.
It is unbelievable that the Knicks win one playoff game. And it's been 8 years. And first of all, 8 years is not that long.
Not that long. I mean, it does not, they need to figure out like the days. You know what I mean? They need to say how many days it's been because that sounds a lot, more extreme. 8 years doesn't sound that bad. 8 years doesn't
really sound that long, to be honest with you.
And poor Carmelo, by the way. As all this is happening, people were saying Julius Randle is the greatest Knick ever.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose wins this playoff game. People were saying, like, put his jersey in the rafters. Carmelo, spent however 9 years there and was getting the 4 seed and losing in the first round. He's like, I've won a playoff game in the first round before, and they're like, 8 years ago. Get it out of here. Forgot about it.
This is the joy of the New York media machine is that
what have you done for me lately?
They've convinced everybody that winning one game is because if this
I could see the Hawks winning this series in 5, but I just want to say for that moment in time, the Knicks winning a game was magical.
If this was happening in Minnesota, if the Minnesota Timberwolves...
They're not playing in MSG.
If they win one game and the fans spill out of the arena and they're on the subway chanting...
to be honest with you...
Everyone else around the country would be like, these fans are...
There's real Knicks fans and then there's cloud chasers. And we all know the cloud chasers. And they are the ones that are spitting on Trae Young. They're the one that are outside of MSG
we want
dancing,
Brooklyn.
Dancing like they just won the title. You're like, what is happening? But that is what it is. I mean, I'm happy that those people care about basketball, and I say that as I roll my eyes. But at the end of the day, it was great to see a real basketball roster because RJ Barrett, I mean, no offense, Reggie Bullock took your spot, you know what I mean, in the crunch time lineup. So get him out of here. You got Derrick Rose, you got Reggie Bullock, you got Alec Burks, you got Taj Gibson, and you got Julius Randle. And that's your real 5 in New York. That's the 5 that could potentially win the series. I don't know if they're going to play those 5.
They're not going to win the series.
That 5 could win the series. That's my 5. I'm riding with that 5. I know it sounds crazy, but I love Taj Gibson. I obviously love Derrick Rose. I've always thought Alec Burks since Colorado was a star.
You're drinking the media machine
No,
Kool-Aid too.
I'm
Look at you,
not.
dude.
You know what I'm drinking? The Tibbs machine.
Okay.
If Tom Thibodeau was coaching anyone but the Boston Celtics and doing this with these players, I would be hyped. Like if this was happening on the Bulls right now, I would be even more hyped because it would be Jordan's team, D Rose's team. I would be on fire. I would be on fire if it was Chicago. But I'm happy that because Tibbs knows real basketball, cares about real basketball. So does Derrick Rose, and so does New York in theory. So
I just can't like.
It just feels good. It feels good, Titus. I'm fired up.
It feels good. They won a game. The Hawks, even though the Hawks lost game 2, I came away from that thinking the Hawks
seem like
they're
the better
much
team.
better team.
Yes.
They're a much better team.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's okay.
It's okay.
Derrick Rose is. Do you think he's tired? Do you
Yes.
think he's worn down? Because
No,
I got
he's
that.
worn
I saw him
down.
in the post game press conference, or not even the post game. He was like on the court, whatever you call that, the stand up where he's just sitting there and they throw the headset on him. And boy, that guy looked like.
It's what I told you last episode, which is he had to decide to be the star of the team because Julius is not the star. He's the most improved. You know, he's not the star though. There's only one star on the team, and maybe two. Maybe it's Alec Burks, but it's Derrick Rose, and that is who has. And I don't think he wanted to shoulder that burden necessarily. I think doing the post-game press conference is not where Derrick Rose wants to be in his career. Let's just be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just wanted to do fill-in duty and just like hit a few shots and make a few plays here. I want to be
mentoring someone that's going to be great like quickly, but he's not ready. And Julius isn't ready. I am. I've been there, so I got to do it. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.